going to kick things off with just a quick practice around how businesses, smaller to enterprise, can sort of think about migrating some of the past research into Dovetail. I think that this is really a big topic, particularly as you are considering what's important to you. I think when we talk to customers, some of the things we hear is like, we want to make sure that the research that we do have is sustainable, and so we can reuse as much of it as possible. And that, of course, the cost of formal research is super high, and we're quite attached to the research that we've done in the past. So we have been creating some features to sort of help you capture and make some of those hard choices. So I wanted to highlight this one called Collection. So I'm just working on the sidebar down the left-hand side. And something that you can do is actually bring in a section of your past research into Dovetail in a quick and easy sort of 3-step way. So the first step for you is going to be thinking about, okay, what past research do I actually have as part of my organization? What's important and how have we previously done things? Maybe it's readouts, white papers, decks, and that might actually require some mining from you to actually find those and bring them into the product. So that would be your first step. The second thing that you can do once you've sort of decided on what content you want to bring into the product is actually add them. So in this collection, this one is quite bare, obviously, for this example, but I've summarized this as this is a collection of research that was completed between these dates on CPU and CX in 21. So you can simply click this Add Files button and select from either a native upload from your computer or pulling directly from Google Drive. So as I mentioned, these are your sort of distilled reports and findings, typically past research in this instance. I'm actually going to select from a couple of files. You can actually bulk import up to 100 files in one go and drop them into your repository. So I'll start off with these two. I've chosen a couple of PDFs, but in terms of limitations here, you can do anything from PowerPoint decks, documents, Excel spreadsheets, images, anything that's going to help you create a picture of research that's been done. So as these are uploading, you'll note that they actually took the name from how I had titled the files that I've imported. So if you have naming conventions in the folders that you have internally, that's going to carry over for you. So we do know that some teams actually have like pretty complex folder structures that they're bringing in, and that won't be lost with the bulk import that you can do. So I'm going to open up one of these files. So we've got customer experience digital first. And something I might want to do is actually apply a topic to this. So topics were recently introduced as a way to categorize research for stakeholders coming into your workspace. It could be anything from what it actually is, so the content of that, whether it's like the actual format, or alternatively, if it's like a stage of the research journey, so that you can make it a little bit easier for teams and stakeholders coming into the workspace to get an idea of what's actually in there. And so I'm going to say that this is a market report that we created. I've got some suggested topics there. It's related to the future of the market and digital. And these become search terms that essentially anyone in my workspace can come in, have suggested, or simply find. And from there, easily see all of the past files, decks, readouts related to that specific area. So super helpful for you to sort of consider what's going to work for your team. And also, I think the pro tip of this is really towards the actual, once you've done some importing, is to share this directly out. You're going to start to see views. So it really replaces the old, I've shared this file with you, and you're not really knowing whether that person has had a read of it. You'll actually be able to see the metadata as a small avatar of whether they've actually come in and had a read. And also, of course, engagement through comments and live discussion on the files themselves. Awesome. So that is collections. Have a play around with it. As I mentioned, the first sort of step is like actually collecting. and thinking about how we're going to approach bringing more of that research into the repository.